My mother abandoned us, leaving me to raise my brother. As my brother begs, I must give her my kidney to survive. Guys, I'm 29 and poor. I need outside advice. I feel obligated to donate my 52-year-old mother a kidney, yet refusing would upset my family. I discovered my mother's kidneys are failing last month. She needs a donor soon, or she'll start dialysis, which is bad. They surprised themselves by finding that I am the best fit for my mother's 2 children, while Ezra is not. Pressure to give is excessive. He can't wait for me to do it, because he thinks it will help him forgive his mother and repair our family. He doesn't know I don't want to heal. I stayed. My family wasn't drugged by me. He wants me to save the mother he barely knew at the expense of his sister, who reared him, which hurts. Although my father, 54M, is not pressuring me, I can see optimism in his eyes. He promises to back me no matter what, but he wants me to do it. He thinking about rejoining with his happy family makes me sad. Mom hasn't asked for the kidney yet, but I can feel it when I see her. I want to yell at her and ask where she was when I was 13 and caring for her child. Being in charge of her life makes me feel strong. You think I'm mean, but I'm more than that. I was 13 and my brother was 5, when my mother left us 16 years ago. She disappeared after using drugs, leaving us with our father. Dad worked hard but had to work long hours to feed and house us. I raised Ezra because his father worked all the time. I fed him, assisted him with homework, and explained why his mother left when he was 13. Chell was awful. A lot. I was too busy mothering to be a child. I'm sad because my mother left us, my father isn't there, Ezra relies on me, and I can't change anything. As I attempted to cook 2 dinners from a container of mac and cheese, I realized that other kids had normal childhoods. Better for Ezra. I confirmed that. I wanted him to live normally even if I couldn't. I lied to my father about why we couldn't afford some products when we were anxious about payments. To wipe his tears, I hid my own. We had different childhoods as we got older. Ezra played games and socialized with friends. My maturity prevented me from doing those things. In time, we grew apart, and the issue worsened. Dad tried his best, I realize. I felt abandoned by both my parents at that point. Even though I knew he had to choose between being present and feeding us, it hurt. I was a wreck in my teens and 20s. I overindulged, made bad choices, and rejected people. Years of treatment were needed to eliminate this junk. Everything improved after I met 31M, my spouse. His patience and understanding are remarkable. He also recalled the past. I went wild when he confirmed his desire to have children. Caring for a child brought back all my worries. It took 2 years of therapy before I felt comfortable attempting to have a baby. This has lasted 6 months. My mother returned then. She came at my father's house early. After greeting her, my father asked Ezra and me in for a family discussion. The way my mother looked. Like a stranger. For reparation, she claimed cleanliness. Ezra was convinced, but I was not. He forgave her easier, because he doesn't remember her worst behavior while high. I was there. I suffered with my mother. However, my father insisted on giving her a chance, which infuriated me. It appeared he wanted to see his former love. I skipped their family event. Before leaving, I didn't tell my mom. My mother has been attempting to reach us for months while I've lived with my father again. She got a job, did nothing wrong, and regretted it. It's too late for me. Though polite, I no longer consider her my mother. Poor idiot Ezra rejoiced when she was restored. He often talks about having a mother again and their fun times together. Want to scream. He seemed to have forgotten everything I did for him and our experience. I tried to focus on my life and not worry, then boom. Doctors explained my mother's condition. Ezra and my father were crying, and I wished I wasn't in the hospital. After the doctor explained the hazards of dialysis and the long transplant list, which my mother would join, Ezra was ready to donate. I supported his decision, but he brought me to the compatibility test. I was right. I walked out of the hospital and refused to sign the organ donation form. Why must I sign? My father and brother say I have a hard heart and cannot forgive. I don't matter, they support my mother. My husband has always been great. He promises to always support me, but he's scared. He worries about the procedure's hazards and how they may affect our fertility. Plus, He knows how hard I've worked in treatment and doesn't want this to stop me. Even worse, my mother's sister, my 50-year-old aunt, called me tonight. She doesn't forgive my mother for abandoning everyone and told me it was vengeance. Mom didn't leave us because she was high on drugs. After lying to her father about being married, she got pregnant. Her drug addiction caused her to leave us permanently. She left to have her baby and start again. All prior wounds were ripped open by this discovery. I have no idea what happened or why she returned. Mom left us despite having the chance to stay. My half-sibling may never meet me. My other family members don't know about this. I don't know what to think. Knowing this secret and worrying about the kidney drives me crazy. I've been awake all night thinking about how bad my life has gotten and wondered if I missed any warning flags. Every sacrifice I made and every young moment I lost makes me think. I think about why my mother left now. New information Ezra doesn't know. He keeps telling me to donate a kidney because it's right and will help. But all I can think of is how he spent his youth while I cared for him. Not even Dad knows. I see him being nicer to Mom again. I want to thrash him hard and remind him of her terrible deeds. Completely confused. Considering serious surgery and organ donation to an ex-boyfriend is almost too much. I evaluate how the risks may affect my fertility. I've sacrificed what for this family? My youth, safety, and usual kidhood. I struggle to give up a body part. I've turned bad. Reddit, your thoughts? Since we no longer communicate, AITA, why won't you give my mother my heart? Could I overthink the past? I think only I understood how terrible things were and how much Mom's decisions cost us. All the choices overwhelm me. Making a choice feels wrong. How can I handle this impossible scenario without going crazy? Please assist me, Reddit. Change 1. I thought no one would remark, so I'll delete this post in 24 hours. The quantity of likes and comments on this post is remarkable. Let me start by thanking everyone for their comments on my situation. Everything has made me think. Thank you for considering my viewpoint, but I must be honest. I have been extremely troubled by comments encouraging me to forget and forgive. I understand be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving one another, just as God forgives you in Christ. Forgiveness is excellent. What do you know? Forgiving someone isn't always as easy as reading the Bible. The things my mother did to me hurt for days and weeks. They changed my life. It stole my youth, security, and trust in those who were supposed to protect me. Kind words and a hug can't erase that. And to those who say, but she's your mother, blood does not guarantee love and respect. Although my mother gave birth to me, I had to grow up too soon and care for my younger brother when she didn't want to. Where was all this family centered? Discourse when she was high and left her kids alone? I'm not mean or angry. I'm trying to defend myself and my life after everything she's done to me. Some of you advised family therapy. We attempted that when she returned but failed. Years of loneliness and fighting could not be undone, even though my mother cried and said the appropriate things. Many of you have discussed kidney donation hazards. Great, thanks. Both the operation and its long-term effects matter. Suppose my health prevents me from having children? Suppose I live longer and need that kidney. Should I sacrifice my health and potentially my future for someone who abandoned me without hesitation? My husband and I discussed everything. He told me I could prioritize my health and owed no one, especially my mother, my body. We want a baby, but giving it to someone who hasn't been our mother is terrifying. Way too much. My family remains stressed. Some of Ezra's texts are angry. Others make me feel bad. He even said, if I let Mom die, I'm no better than she was when she left us. That hurt. Dad is quieter, but I can still hear his pain when we talk. They seem to have forgotten what we and I went through. Next, my mother. The courageous woman called me. Call went to voicemail. It was her words. It was hard to hear. She cried and said she doesn't deserve my support but is afraid of death. As much as I wanted to comfort her, I remembered how many times her decisions had left me terrified and alone. No one knows what my aunt told me about my mother's infidelity and the baby she gave up. Every time I want to talk about it, I can imagine Dad's face disrupting Ezra's budding closeness with Mom. Keeping this secret makes me sick. I feel compelled to defend her and take responsibility for her mistakes. I know this report makes me seem cruel. I might be. I'm exhausted, hired to be tough and sacrifice. For once, I want to prioritize myself without guilt. That's my location. Still torn and painful. Not sure what to do. Trying to stay strong and prioritize my health and happiness, no matter if it means being everyone else's villain. Reddit, thanks again for listening. Knowing that others understand, even a bit, comforts me even though I don't know what to do. Change to. Hello Reddit, I'm back with another report after 2 days. Things are much worse. You may recall that Ezra messed up my phone. Okay, he thought texting wasn't enough. He showed up at my flat yesterday without notice. So I worked while my spouse worked on work projects at home. My husband says Ezra broke into our home. He kept saying Mom's health was failing and doctors indicated time was running out. He asked where I was and threatened to pull me to the hospital alone. He tried to soothe Ezra, bless him. Since I was at work, he said that wasn't the right approach. But Ezra refused. He said my wife poisoned me against my mother and family. Ezra fist punched my spouse during a fight. Although my husband avoided it, he had to detain Ezra to prevent him from wrecking the flat while searching for me. Someone in our region called the police because things were bad. I returned home to find the police departing. After hitting my husband in the jaw, Ezra bruised him. Our living room looked storm-damaged. Shocked. I didn't raise this brother. This was not the child I sacrificed for. The artwork seems to have been made by a harsh stranger. When I called Ezra, I tried to reason with him. I did not teach him this behavior. That was wrong. He snatched the phone and yelled at me immediately. In addition to insults, he suggested I was selfish and uncaring about my family. I'll never forget what he said next. If you kill your mother, I'll never forgive you. As you let her die, I will never love you again. I hung up. I had trouble breathing. I thought my worst nightmares were coming true. Growing up, I thought my brother would always support me. My brother preferred Mum to me. I wept. I sobbed and couldn't breathe. My husband was supportive, but I could tell he was scared. This whole issue is tearing us apart. My father's call this morning made it worse. Ezra seems to have misrepresented what happened at our house. Dad thinks I linked up my husband with Ezra and caused all this trouble. He cruelly told me cease being difficult and donate my kidney to avoid this. I quit. Told him everything. Because Mum had an affair and abandoned the baby, not just the drugs. She left us too. I told him I maintained this secret to protect my mother, despite everything. I told him I was always mad at him. This was his fault too. The other end of the queue was quiet for a while. I heard someone cry. Perhaps twice I've seen my father cry. He was miserable. He apologized. He wasn't sure. He regretted not being there more. I was miserable. I heard him again as I defended myself. I was also content. I finally had someone else shoulder my life's weight. After our call, Ezra texted me often. His father called to explain everything. Ezra's music has changed. He's sorry and confessing he didn't understand. He advised me to forget him. I doubt I can. He stated and did some things. It's unforgettable. My mother also blows up my phone. Her father probably told her about the affair and baby then. In her texts, she apologizes and seeks understanding. She claims to have changed since being scared and young. Young? Really? My brother and father look after her daily. But I can only think about where this information went when I was young and terrified. I feel ready to drown. Dad's messy. Mom's becoming sicker. What about me? I struggle to stay afloat. My creativity was exhausted. Part of me wants to leave like my mother did years ago. I know this isn't the answer. It took too long to fix her mistakes, not making the same ones. I'm taking a break from work. My spouse and I have considered a mental vacation. I've blocked everyone's phone numbers except Dad. Time and distance are needed to assess my desires. I need what? I doubt I'll donate the kidney. With things as they are, I doubt I could finish it with my family in the same room. That's the situation. My family fights, and my brother showed me a new side of him. Not sure how to fix this. Is it worth trying? Reddit, thanks for reading. Not sure if I'll blog again. I might delete the first post, but I need to focus on getting healthier for myself and my mother. Last Reverend. Hello Reddit. Many things have happened since my last post. I write from home 3 months after surgery. You read properly. I gave my mother a kidney. I was so sure I wouldn't do it before, so this may surprise some. Trust me, I'm considering it. Let me clarify, I chose this. No one forced me, not my father, Ezra, or mother. Since last posting, as indicated, my spouse and I took time off. Our woods cottage had no mobile service or internet. Woods, ourselves, and time to think. Leaving the chaos helped me think clearly. But I knew because I kept having bad dreams. I'd never forgive myself for not helping. The thought of my mother dying worries me. It was overwhelming. I realized I was upset at everything wrong with the world, not just my mother. I suffered most from holding on to my fury. I informed my spouse of my decision when we got home. He cared and helped. The doctors explained everything. And we started the surgery. To be honest, it was hard. Recovery was much harder than surgery. What do you know? No regrets. It wasn't magical. I feel good about myself for the first time in years. My mother was there before surgery. She sobbed, thanking me often. I admitted this was for us both. Though I remembered. I wished her well, but I didn't see us getting close. She heard it despite not wanting to. I wanted to ask her about my brother or sister, but some things are best left unsaid. Our awkward hugs since she returned were replaced by proper ones, like saying goodbye. Ezra and I are working on our relationship. Apologized for his actions, not quick, but increasing. He realizes his youth recollections are incomplete. He is understanding what I gave up. Dad was always with us. He must face his doubts and regrets. We're closer than ever. He loves my current and who I've become. My husband is great. From decision-making to recovery, he was there. We're happy together than ever. What about me? I'm improving in many ways. Physical improvement has been difficult, but my years-long emotional weight is lighter. I don't think everything's well. I still have bad days and question everything. It was hard, but I'm glad I was myself instead of what others anticipated. Anyone who helped me along the way is appreciated. What you said and how you understood it meant more than you think. Hello, Reddit. Take care. Remember that forgiveness is personal and mending takes time.